Alright everybody, it's time for another beer review. Hasn't been long since my last beer review, which is a bit of a novelty for this channel. So yeah, I've got this. Oh, this is going to be another review where I willingly go out and buy an IPA and then complain about why every drink I have is an IPA. So this is Hazy Beast DDH Hazy IPA. I don't know what DDH means. It sounds like a wrestling move, but it must mean something. Some hairs on the bottom here. It's another quite strong one, 7.1% vol. So, there's all kinds of stuff on here. We have a beast on our hands, as you do if you're reading this. Strong, thick and orangey looking. It's a right hop monster. Well, they all are, aren't they? Yeah, all that stuff. Hops, Simcoe and Equinox. I don't know. It's got all the hops listed there. I don't know how you pronounce that one. Malt, Golden Promise, Extra Pale. Yeast, London Ale 3. I don't know. I don't know what difference the yeast makes to a beer. No idea, but we're going to have a look. And, oh well, I guess if you put like I've heard of them using like champagne yeast to get a different kind of beer and stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't smell super hoppy. It smells very almost tangerine-y. Smells quite nice, quite sweet. So let's pour it out. I've got my little mini half-pint dimple glass. I don't know why. I think I was looking at this can earlier and I was kind of almost, and I started thinking about like having a nice classic bitter, which for some reason I always want but I never buy. I don't know why. Wow, that smells really, yeah, that smells really like, yeah, it's like a tangerine. Very sweet. Or it's almost like peach juice. Yeah, peachy. It's like the when you get peaches in syrup. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that from the sound of it. And it says Hazy Beast, but it's definitely not as hazy as the last beer I had, the Parlay. It's actually quite clear compared to that. Nice colour though. I like that. Sort of golden-y look to it. It looks nice in the dimple mug as well. It looks almost like a honeycomb or something. So yeah, I'll try this out. Oh, it's definitely hoppy once you taste it. I don't know what this red mark is on my neck. Anyway, yeah, you definitely get the hops, but it's not, I wouldn't describe that as a hop monster. Maybe I've just had too many hoppy things recently. It's actually quite sweet and mellow in a way. It's got lots of flavour packed in there, but it isn't like, I think when you hear hop monster, you expect it just to be so bitter and hoppy that it's like it makes your mouth pucker, but it's not really like that. It's nice. Yeah, it's very, I'd describe it as a very bright drink, if that's a descriptive way of getting my point across. Sort of light, kind of fruity, slightly flowery, kind of, I don't know, just quite a joyful drink I'd describe this as. So it's nice. Yeah, it's very sweet. But and I always say I don't like sweet beers, but I think it's just a type of sweetness. I think it's when you get those like ruby ales, it's a bit sickly, but if you get it right, if it's kind of fruity sweet, I like it. It's almost like a cider or something then. And yeah, this is it. It does remind me of the syrup off a can of peaches. Yeah, that's really good actually. It might get a bit too sweet towards the end, I can imagine. But as I'm drinking it, the sweetness is building up, but also the hops are building up a bit more. So that's nice. Tell you one thing I haven't seen, because I know they have these like crazy beers where they just turn up the flavours up to maximum, but have they ever got like a traditional English bitter and tried just ramping up them flavours, like is it like Fuggles hops and things like that? Traditional hops, traditional malts, but just tried making it like super strong, super crazy flavours. I think that'd be interesting to try. I don't know if there's anything like that. It always seems to be like citra hops and things like that, because I guess that's the flavour of the time, is like these sort of citrusy tastes. But yeah, I mean, there must be a beer like that out there. I've just never really come across it. It always seems to be these kind of very citrusy, fruity flavours, which isn't always bad. I think it might be interesting to try something like that. Or maybe a beer like that just has a different name. I don't know. It's nice. It's getting a bit sickly as I'm drinking it. But there's like a sharpness that cuts through, so it keeps like. I think if it stayed sweet and then every sip you had, it was like the whole sip was too sweet. It might put me off going for another sip. But actually, what happens is the first sip of it, there's like quite a sharpness that cuts through, and it's only like the aftertaste that comes where the sweetness really comes on. It's like you know how you get like a lingering flavour with the hops. It's like you get the bitterness and the sweetness at the same time, really lingering, but then you drink more and that kind of cuts through it a little bit, and then as soon as you stop drinking it comes back. It's strange. Let's pour a bit more out here. I wasn't going to drink the whole can, that's why I got a smaller glass. Sometimes I like to drink the whole can to get the full experience, because I think the way the taste changes as you're drinking it, I think you can't really review a beer from just the first couple of sips. Definitely not. You get like that first. There is that first hit sort of flavour, but it definitely changes a lot. You got to get at least towards the middle of the glass, or the pint, or the can, or whatever, to give it a full review. Yeah. That might be getting a bit too sweet for me now, actually. The flavours build up. This is what I mean about having to drink, you know, a good portion of the can to give it a good review. It tasted really nice initially, but it's getting a bit sickly for me, as I predicted. Yeah, and I mean, that's just personal preference on the flavours. Other people will probably like that a lot. I mean, some people drink beers and I can't understand what they see in them, and they really like them. Like these really strong ruby ales are way too sickly for me. So obviously, I must have a funny taste for these kind of beers, and this kind of, it's a bit like that. Like it's a bit cloying for me, a little bit. Yeah, and see now, because the sweetness has built up, when I'm drinking it, when I said it was like a sweet and it was like a fruit juice taste, that's now kind of hitting the front of my tongue, and it's a bit too much. It's not cutting through like it was before, because it's kind of, the flavours have built up too much. Or maybe it's because the bitter hops have sort of attacked my tongue too much, and now when I get the sweet, it's like too much of a contrast for me. I've really started not enjoying this drink. Yeah, I don't think I would have another one of these, to be honest. It was really good from the start, and the smell of it is really nice, and that sort of that light-hearted joyfulness that I tried to describe is kind of gone for me now. It's a bit too much. It's like when you it's like at Halloween. I always buy a big bag of sweets for trick-or-treaters, and then I get about 3 trick-or-treaters come to my house. So at the end of Halloween, I'm always left with tons of sweets. I'm like, oh yes. I start eating them, and it's amazing because I've got all these sweets. And then after a while, it just gets too much, and you're like, oh. But then for some reason, you keep eating them even though you don't want to anymore. I'm sure everyone's been in that situation. Well, that's how I describe this beer for me. Started out really good. All the best intentions this beer had, and I guess I would describe it as too much of a good thing. The flavours doesn't keep its bright persona for the whole can. It gets a bit too overbearing. It outstays its welcome. Maybe that's how I'd describe it. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it very much now. Yeah, I don't know. I think other people would like that. I think that's just me. Like, I always have a bit of a funny thing with sweet beers. Sometimes I really like them. Other times they get too much for me. And this time I think I'll have to say it's too much for me. But other people might enjoy it. If it sounds like your kind of thing, it's a very fruity, tangerine-y, sweet, hoppy drink. And you might enjoy that one. So I don't want to say it's a bad one. I don't want to give it like a bad review, but it's not for me, honestly. It's yeah, it's not something that I would buy myself again, but it doesn't mean it's terrible. It's just personal preference. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna finish this off, but I think I might have to have like a bit of water or something to wash away some of the tastes. So maybe if I go back to it later on, I'll get that initial joy that I had. Anyway, cheers for watching. And yeah, this was another expensive one. I can't remember who it was. Was it the geezer boy? Someone left a message saying it's way too expensive. This was like £5 something for a can. The other one was £5 something. It is too expensive. It was from one of these like hipster sort of places. It's the one in Newcastle Station, but there's quite a few. And I think they get away with charging loads for the beers, but they always have something. Like, you go in there and they've just got so many interesting things. It's kind of like it's good to go in there just to see the beers. But I suppose if you shopped around, you probably get these beers for a lot cheaper. But it's just a case of finding them. And because I don't really drink that much anymore. Like, I cut down my beer loads. I used to buy like have a drink every day, and now I just have like 1 or 2 cans a week at home. So I don't really care that much if it's pricey, because if it's gonna, if I buy myself a nice fancy beer, it's still gonna cost me less than all the beers I used to drink. So in my head, I don't mind it that much. It's just, it is a bit overpriced, but I don't know, you could probably get this cheaper somewhere else. But yeah, I just wanted to respond to that comment and said it was too, expensive. It was, but I don't really think about it that much when I'm buying beer, just because beer is just a sort of occasional treat for me these days, so the cost doesn't really add up for me anymore. Anyway, cheers for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.